Hello everybody, welcome to our webinar. So today we're going to be talking about something that came out of the blue, and this is the type of software that I would say is a surprise. Also, it's something that I think most of you will like, especially for a few key features that I think pretty much every software should have, but this one does, and we're going to find out what it is. So first thing first, we're going to be talking about Envision. And well, Envision is obviously software by Chaos. I can see that everybody's slowly gathering, and we've got Rahul, thank you very much for joining in, and also Theodore, Oswaldo, so nice to have you guys. So hey, from Tunisia, nice, thank you for joining. So first thing first, let's talk about the software, what it is, where it came from, well, who makes it? Obviously it's Chaos, because this is one of the special streams that we're creating for the Chaos itself. So what does it mean for you guys? Well, I'm going to try to type something in Google so we can talk about that in a second. So Envision. This is a software that can be best understood a mix or a middle ground between Enscape and Vantage. So Envision has most of the best parts of the both worlds, because this software, as the developers would say, is going to work with all of the CAD software. Also, it's going to help you utilize your workflows from SketchUp, but it's mostly going to be focused on the architectural stuff. So it's one of those programs that is specifically designed for larger scale objects. Hey Mike, how are you? Aaron, hey, nice to have you. Aquamarine, Marisa, hey, how are you guys? AXYZ, Predeep, hi Mike, love from God's own country, India, nice to have you. And let's just continue. So now what I wanted to say is that this software is really going to be a unique peril, because Envision itself isn't really going to be a big surprise in terms of how it works. It's a rendering engine that is very comparable to both Enscape and Vantage. You probably can find some similarities with other software because, well, this is how it's supposed to be done. And this is one of those programs. I would also like to put out, let's say, make absolutely clear that at the moment this software is in a beta state. So that means that we're not yet done with it. It's not 100%, let's say, finished. And the version we're using is, well, I would say quite an early bird because it's 0.3. So there's 70% of stuff they want to put into the software before they call it finished. So first thing first, when you log into the software or you turn it on, you're going to see a typical toolbar and a very clear, understandable UI where they literally tell you everything. So we got main toolbar, so pretty much movement tools and selection tools. Then we've got lighting, scatters, all that. We've got our control panels, which is going to be, well, responsible for FPS. Well, if you don't know how to turn off software, well, this is here. Now, really, this is how the software should be working. I mean, this screen should be something that you always see. And I'm really loving it because when I was opening this software for the first time, I was really studying all of that, and I felt confident when I was opening it that, yeah, I kind of can now start working with this software. Well, first thing first, it's still in a beta, so it doesn't have all the fancy schmancy elements that are typically added as a demo, so play around with it. But we're going to have a bit of a work around it because I've got a scene that was created by one of my students, and you can see, you can actually see it here. So this scene was created by my student that literally just finished her term on, I would say, yeah, like a week ago or two. So Isaline, if you can hear me, thank you so much for this scene. It's going to be a blast. Let's continue. I can see getting 5D vibes from the UI. I mean, hey Mikasa, hey, nice to see you. I always smile when I see you because it's so nice to have people returning to our streams. So going back, yeah, you can actually find vibes that are similar to other software. So as you're going to see some elements in Blender that are similar to 3ds Max, vice versa, Madbox is going to be similar to ZBrush because they essentially do the same thing. So yes, we will see similar stuff. It's like, yeah, I can see that the car has 4 wheels. Yeah, that's it. So it's nothing to really be concerned about. I would say that it's a plus because you're actually going to be able to use this scene with a higher degree of success because you're already pre-trained in it if you know that software or something similar. Okay, I'm now opening this scene in 3ds Max, so we're going to examine what it is and how it's done, because we need to move the scene from 3ds Max and Corona to this software. So Envision is going to be tested. So I did some tests, so we're going to have some fun with it, and I think that the element that everybody's waiting for is the quality, speed, and consistency of your projects. So talking about the UI, there's really going to be no problem at all because every single let's say key feature is described in those tools, and in view, in tools, everything is clearly described and you can see where where all of the shortcuts are going to go. That's super cool. One thing, and since it's a beta, I'm going to be talking a lot about that. So first of all, render image is Shift R. Very unique. Typically it's F9 on most of the software that I worked with, but well, you do you. Still, I'm not gonna judge, it's just a little bit different in here. So the scene itself is complex and simple at the same time, because this image was created using Corona. So we're going to have to definitely take into account that I, as a specialist in Corona renderer, am capable of, let's say, guiding my students a little bit further down the line to create more unique images in this software versus any software that's still in beta. So we really want to put some emphasis on the fact that we need to, we're testing what it is and is it any good. So what do you think about Adobe Captive? I haven't tested it yet, so no opinions yet, but it's probably going to be quite good. Hello Asim, nice to see you. The Corona render is gorgeous. I mean, it is, but we're going to try to replicate this as much as we can based on the already existing scene, because there are some elements that I really need to now go through. So whenever you want to export your scene from 3ds Max, you're going to have to go to your render setup, then go to system and export scene. And I'm talking about this from the Corona standpoint because we're mainly going to be working with that software anyway. I would like to remind all of you that this webinar is specifically created thanks to the courtesy of Chaos, and I would like to remind you that we're going to be mostly trying to get you to join the Chaos Campus, where I'm one of the, let's say, helpers, where we're helping people get a little bit more knowledgeable in 3ds Max and Corona, Vantage, all the nice things. So going forward, we're going to click on export scene, and I tested where I exported all of the files in a CDO, so that's the default Corona scene file. Unfortunately, at the moment, it's not supported, so it's one of those things that, well, kinda sucks. Yet I am pretty sure that they're not going to leave behind their most popular software. Since this is AXYZ oriented, they're definitely going to add the CDO format into their workflow. So, well, fingers crossed. That's why I exported the scene in V-Ray. So yeah, that's really weird, but bear with me, because both Corona and V-Ray are pretty similar right now, and both are capable of reading most of the data anyway, so it's not going to hurt to just try. So Isaline scene. So there's something that I want to give you as a heads up, because it's going to be a good practice whenever you're going to be exporting your scene to close your eyes and not look at the amount of errors I'm getting. This is something that's really not going to be present once the software actually is out. So again, I'm just going to say that it's most likely the type of situation where you just need to go with it, since it's a beta. So we're not going to really be bothered with that. And you can see that the export doesn't take much time, although the scene itself takes as much as 1 gigabyte it's almost 1 gigabyte. So it actually takes a moderately fine amount of time to get exported. But I already did that, and I'm going to go to File, Open, or Import. We're going to be importing embedded, or we're going to be opening, because, well, that's really the only thing we can do. So, it just came in. So you can see that the file is being now created. So first thing we're going to go for is the export. So that's the scene itself that I exported earlier, and I've split it into 3 parts, just for our convenience, so it's easier to work with. But just for the fun of it, we can actually try loading the full scene, which is at the moment still exporting. Yeah, it's still exporting. So that's my computer. So I'm just going to go for open, and let's see how fast it does it. So the claims from the developers are quite bold, because what they said is that this is software that will help you work with larger scenes, or unlimited almost size of your scene. So I don't necessarily know how that works, and you now could see that there were some elements that weren't really supported by the software. First thing I'm going to do is select the camera to ensure that we've got the right properties. So what do we do, and what does it how does it work here? So the UI is super simple. We've got the variation, environment, and cameras. So those are going to be our main tools that we're going to go to. So variation is just a general scene setup. If you're going to move stuff, change materials, you save it in different states. So I would probably compare that to yeah, I think it's comparable to scene states in 3ds Max. So that's a pretty cool thing. We got environment. So again, if you change the environment, you can save it. Really cool thing. But cameras are going to be the most important. So first thing, because the shot was supposed to be in portrait mode, I'm going to click on this, and we're going to try to type in the right numbers. 9:10 was the size I was going for. At first, you can clearly see that the software is, well, struggling to render some of the elements, because, well, for example, decals didn't transfer. We didn't transfer some of the proxies, but rest is looking really fine. So since we're testing and trying to understand why the software is so good, we're going to try to open, and here I'm going to try to import and embed another element. Since the scene is already in, I'm just going to not open new one, because that would be ridiculous, because we're going to overwrite the current progress, and we're just going to try to load the scene and all of the trees, because that's going to be rather important, I would say. So again, something that I've found to be fascinating is that 1 gigabyte of trees is loaded into the software super duper fast, and it's again going to be, oh my god, error failed. Okay, so we're going to try to unlock camera. Okay, so I guess it's just one of those situations of when you are live streaming, you're going to run into. So let's try to actually open the software again, because again, it's a beta. So I'm going to reserve my judgment for later, because it's obviously going to be like this from time to time. So let's reopen this software and try it out. Plus, it is potentially due to the fact that the GPU is being really abused because I'm streaming to Facebook, I'm streaming to YouTube. Once again, join the Chaos Campus. So it's going to be one of those things you really will enjoy. So decals aren't really transferred. Oh my God. Okay, it's crashing. Okay, I mean, that didn't happen earlier, so that's a nice start, I guess. Chaos Campus for the win. So yeah, you absolutely need to join it because Theodore is one of the best people to talk there. He's really engaged in that whole project. So plus he has his own amazing show there where he talks about, well, the show is called Keeping It Realistic, where he goes over specific works and uploads from specific users, and also talks about some news, some extra fun stuff that's happening in the 3D world. So you should definitely try it out. Okay, so let's try loading it again, because this is one of those things where I am definitely not going to give up. We were close. Maybe I'm going to cut down the scene a little bit. Do you know if Envision can handle assets from vendors like Max 3 directly, or they need to be converted through 3ds Max first? I would say that if you will have them in V-Ray format, they will be handled. But the crash message. So let's see. Now, beta, right? So I would say that vendors like Max 3 will probably... Oh, nice. So I promise you that it worked. Let's try again, because maybe this is something that's, I don't know. Okay, so let's save it and pretend you didn't see that, because maybe we're going to try to gut the scene a little bit. But again, I promise you, everything worked like 5 minutes. I tested it 10 times before the going live. So weird. But let's continue. I'm just going to close Photoshop, maybe because it might be using some resources that I'm not aware of. Yeah, going back to the Envision, it's supposed to be able to handle unlimited amount of, or bigger scenes, and it's not going to be slowing down. So I don't know how exactly that works, if it's going to be limited by your GPU's VRAM, or is it going to be all stored in your main RAM. This is something that I really want to follow up with the Chaos on that one claim, the hazards of going live. Yes, exactly, and I must say that I'm still having fun, so let's just roll with it. Now, exporting the scene is going to take a couple of seconds, but now Envision, please be good. Chaos exposed. I mean, not really. It's, oh, archiving crash report. Thank you. So yeah, I would say it's a beta. 0.3, right? So it's something that's definitely going to be responsible for it. I mean, I would close 3ds Max if I wasn't using it, and reset app settings. Okay, I added no settings anyway, so resetting won't hurt at all. So the UI, as I said, is really nice. It's still nice, and it's even better after you go one step further. So let's try it again. If it fails to load the big file, I'm going to just pretend that we haven't seen that, and we're going to take a gutted version that I also prepared earlier. But let's wait for the export, because well, that's fun. Okay, so something to talk about here is that Envision has a very unique thing in it. You know what? Let's not wait for the file. Oh, once I said that, it's actually done exporting, so we will be waiting for it. So, not the file, Envision. Okay, maybe I could do that. Oh no. Let's try it now. Fingers crossed, guys, guys and gals. So this time it actually worked. Maybe. Almost there. let's be very silent so it doesn't. Chaos Vantage render. Did I use the wrong format or something? Hello there. Okay. So it does seem like my GPU is the problem here, because it cannot handle the unlimited amount of scene and it won't slow down. So yes, there are limitations, now we know, so I'm going to take the smaller version of the same scene and try to use it. Sorry for that, guys, it's really not supposed to be like that. It would have seemed that I am actually abusing the GPU of mine, so I will be closing 3ds Max instead. And look at this nice image while it's loading. I'm probably going to have to remake this later on, because it doesn't seem to be going right. Maybe I'm going to just install my second GPU here, so it's going to be easier. But let's try the smaller version real quick, because again, it's a beta, so I'm not going to be even mad. I would be mad if this is how other software would be greeting me. For example, software that I was paying for. This beta is currently an open beta, so you can just join it in. And yeah, it's funny, but I'm not going to even be mad. It's not even looking bad, because most of the objects that I was trying to add can be added in Vantage anyway, so the trees were just in the right positions anyway, so let's not get into it. So unlocking the camera, so this is something that I actually don't like. You got the camera, so you can lock it, unlock it, fine. But the perspective view is a totally different view to your camera. Obviously, yes, but it is something that you're going to have to get used to. Now, the scene itself, as I said, I'm adding the gutted version. Thing that I love here is that compared to other software of this type, you can actually have all of the objects selected separately, and we've got a few things that we need to go through. So what is the advantage, or what element is the most impressive in this software? Well, I would say that it's the Anima Crowd, because that one thing is well worth the money, because a lot of you will be doing some larger places, or let's say some kind of building development stuff. It's really going to be hard to not want to have some people. And remember that this is a type of software GPU, so it's going to compromise a little bit of the quality of rendering for your speed. So it's definitely going to serve that purpose. Now let's rebuild the scene, because well, we've got a lot to do here. First of all, we've got our scene management, so the export thingy is here. If I would be able to load all the files as I wanted, we would have all of those elements separate. So it's not going to take into account your layers. That's a little bit of a pity, but that's again going to be based on the format of your scene. So V-Ray is going to be that, like that. Hey Valeria, thank you. Hey Anna, so nice. A fragile law doesn't work when someone's watching. Yes, yeah. Exactly like that. Hey mom. Now let's see what we've got in here. So the thing is that we've got the UI and meshes. So this is where you select only the objects that are in mesh format. We've got scatters, the elements that we're going to be adding. And again, this is a kind of cool thing, because we've got our material editor. So I'm going to talk about materials and how to edit them in a second, but long story short, this is it. This is how we can do it. But now, hey Asha, nice to see you. How are you doing? Any new renders? Now let's continue and talk about the software. Now the thing that I think is going to be the most impressive here is the ability to add all the assets from Chaos Cosmos. Again, it's going to be a recurring theme that goes on and on in all the software from Chaos, so I'm not going to be boasting about that, because at this moment I am so spoiled with software like this that I'm going to just say this is the standard, and they're just putting this standard to the test, because they're actually adding a couple of things that are unique just for this software, and that's mostly going to be the crowd control, because people in here are going to be walking, but as you can see, none of them are animated, and those people are just, well, people, right? So high quality, but this is not exactly what most of the animations will require, because going through animations with this kind of movement is probably not going to be a cool thing to have. So definitely that's going to come in handy later. First, presets, splines, surfaces, and we're going to be able to use any of the surface presets. So I'm just going to take on one that I've already downloaded, and let's make sure that we use it. So all we need to do is drag and drop, and it's going to just automatically work instantly. Super fast load. This is I do not load assets like as fast as this into 3ds Max, so this is really cool and I love it. It's fantastic. Now the scatter and the control of it is super simple, and actually they made it quite intuitive. I'm going to again say that this is a beta, so I'm going to give them my thoughts on some of the elements. First of all, we got the layers, which is super cool. I didn't know that I need this in Corona, because here you can take the same exact scatter, see all of the presets added in, and you can duplicate this or add a new one or new set of rules for a separate elements in your scatter. So that's fantastic, because now we can add this in, and we're going to have a new layer where we can either copy the previous one and add it to a separate element, or just do the randomization on its own, because each layer has its own settings, which is super cool. The minus here would be that if you're going to create 5 layers, at some point selecting them is going to be kind of hard, so I would probably work on that, because as soon as you're going to add multiple layers, this is going to get a little bit hard to select those that are a little bit lower, and it gets a bit hard. I mean, yeah, I'm so spoiled, but still I like it a lot. So targets are just the objects that we added as the how to say this, oh my god, I forgot how it's called in Corona. Anyway, this is the objects that we are allowed to scatter on. So all we need to do is add another target. Boom, we're done. That's so simple, and it works nearly flawlessly. So I specifically made sure that this part of the ground is going to have 0 distances, but you can actually set, wow, you can actually set your elements or objects to be discriminating against the scatter. So you can use objects as the exclusion zone. So that's really, really cool. And again, I'm going to say that I like it. So let's exit this part. So how do we exit? Oh yeah, we've got the plane, and I didn't apply that setting. So add new objects, apply this object, again instant success, and we need to click done, that I'm done adding the elements. Same goes for exclusion areas, where we can just go for it and add an object that's going to be our exclusion object, so no scatters are going to be added beneath this element. Really cool, and nothing to... The thing is that it is so simple and so useful that I'm kind of almost disappointed that we don't have it in other software. So I'm just going to continue complaining and reviewing, because I like how it works. Now, let's get into the elements that you're probably going to be asking about. So how do we set up our materials? This is how we do it. We've got the enhancements, and we've got all of the options. So cutout is pretty much your opacity map, so that's it. We've got foliage and all of the elements. So clear coat varnish is going to be good for some of the elements, such as your car paint, right? So we've got the base color, and we can select some assets such as textures. So project streams, anima. So what do we have in here? So assets. Let's look for some sort of texture to use for the ground. Leather doesn't look very ground-like, so I'm just going to pick something at random, because at this point, okay, that's going to be perfect. We've got something to add to our scene. Okay, now The reason why I'm adding it is really to go over some of the aspects here. So we've got all of the PBR elements. So roughness, we've got the metalness. Really, nothing else is needed. You've got everything you need, that's it. Probably some color correction would be cool to have, but then again, we can just set our base color in here, and I'm going to change the amount of diffuse and opacity, so suddenly I'm getting some of the diffuse and some of the texture, so I'm really going to be loving it. Oh, this is scatter mechanic is yeah, it is, because again, it's super fast, and it's just something that all the software should have. Now, I'm not enjoying the camera or the way the environment is working because at the moment, everything is at the wrong time of a day. So we can go to the environment and to click on general, or we can just go to general to the environment here, and we can just play with it. This is the exact same sky you're going to see in V-Ray and in Corona, so it has no surprises. It's just amazing, it's fun, and it's going to look just great. So you just set up everything the way you want, and first I'm going to just change the camera settings real quick. So where do we reapply? Perfect. Okay, now can I go to the camera, please? Sky, that calls. Perfect. Details, sorry. 9/10. Okay, not bad. Going back to the environment, sky is going to be separate to the sun. I don't know what's the logic behind it, but it's actually quite nice to have in terms of control and separation. So well, I would probably try to add both of them at the same time, but again, it's going to be easier. Probably something that you're going to love is the geolocation, where you can add all of the nice details. So Western Europe, and we're going to be working with London time, so you've got everything. You've got the day of the month, the year. Let's go to year 11,000, because with this software, we're kind of living in the future. Still, it's a beta, but I'm going to say it anyway. Hi, do you get any concepts and style rendering for exhibition stand designs? Yeah, I do. I do a lot. What is the rendering software? This rendering software is a new beta version of Chaos Envision, and you can actually see it on their website. So go to thechaos.com and look for the Envision. They're slowly getting the pace, and it's actually really cool because it's super fast, easy to work with, and they actually added something that I love the most. You can walk in it, fly in it, yes, that's fine, but what I was trying to say is that we've got the options for our resolution and quality. So you can see that the quality of the rendering at the moment is, let's say, subpar. So hardware upscaling, let's turn it off, and let's add the scale. So now we're actually rendering in real time this the resolution that we were supposed to. But before I make my GPU blow up, I'm just going to type in the 50% and add the upscaling so it doesn't blow up, because we already noticed that my computer decided to be in a beef with this nice type of software. So geolocation off, and now the sky has a couple of let's say problems, I would say, because when I was playing around with the horizon, no, not the horizon, it was the altitude, and yeah, I think it was the altitude. At some point, if we're going to add for more diversity in our scene, you can see that there's a little bit of a pattern forming on all of the clouds, which I haven't noticed that it would be a thing in Corona. It's especially going to be visible at some angles, but again, it's just something that I'm pretty sure they will figure out later on, because it's not on all angles, but it's definitely visible, and in some shots it is going to be a bit of an yeah, it's going to be a bit of a problem for some people. Now, let's reposition the camera, and now, okay. So the altitude, environment, pretty much everything is basic. I mean, it's good, but it's the type of... I shouldn't be saying basic, because it's super good. It's super easy to work with, but I just got spoiled, and I love it so much that I think it's the standard, I would say. But regardless, it's super easy, and I really love the speed at which you can add all of the assets. Something that, again, I'm going to just say is weird. We've got the wait a second, models, we've got vegetation. This is the icon for flowers, grass, and rocks. That's the icon. I'm not sure if that's the right choice, because when I was using this software for the first time, I was like, where's the grass? Where's the grass? Where's the grass? And it wasn't intuitive to click on a rock to get to the grass. But it's definitely going to be intuitive to just add a couple of trees real quick. So we're just going to wait for it to download. It's being downloaded at the moment. Maybe good time to save, Mike. Nah, we're going YOLO. This time I'm not going to be saving. No, obviously I will in a second, but okay, so it's downloaded. Can we get it? Yeah, so it's not loving the positioning. So all we need to do is move the object. Honestly, it's faster than moving objects in 3ds Max. It's so weird because this is the same asset, and if I would be moving it in 3ds Max would be, well, crying about it. And now I'm just moving it around, and it's super fun. If you're going to know something about the positioning of your objects, you can just select some object, read the position, and move it. I haven't found the alignment tool, but I'm going to say that it's probably there. I'm just this is just too much beta to really be aware of how it's working. So let's move it here. Okay, super fast. I love it. This is extremely good. And yeah, I'm going to be a bit of yeah, I want to save it because I know that any moment I'm going to crash because that's just my luck whenever I go online, especially live for the audience outside. Okay, so fast loading, super fun elements. We've got the whole cosmos in here, so fun. Materials are super simple. Even better than Vantage, because Vantage doesn't have any material editor, or at least the last time when I was working with it, it didn't have one. So cool. Now, I'm yet to figure out the way of creating scatters on the objects. No, it's actually super simple. All we need to do is create the plane or some sort of surface. So we've got the lights, we've got surfaces, we've got plane, box, sphere, torus, and a dummy. That's probably just a small nudge towards me, so thank you for that, Chaos. But the thing that I like the most is the spline option, because, well, this is, again, going to be quite straightforward, and we've got our spline. So add points, edit, filled, but you can see that it's a closed one, right? So you can open and close it, and the last step, if you let's say edit the point and try to, let's say, delete one, why doesn't it react to delete? It just doesn't like being deleted. Let's go back. Okay, done. Delete. Now I'm just going to try to redo that, and okay, now if we're going to click closed, it's going to automatically just go for the last drop. It's cool because, again, it's fast, easy, and nonsense free. Now we can go to the presets. Again, just grab splines and elements, and this is going to be based on splines. So all we need to do is apply this element, if I'm understanding it correctly. So it's going to go along the spline, not in the spline area. So it's going to be something that we have to be aware of. And well, we're probably going to have to create surfaces that are also here, planes and all other shapes, to be able to do it. But I'm going to see if the fillet option is going to change something about it, because I have a suspicion that it might do that. Okay, there's a bit of a rain in my area, so okay, got it. So if we do this, it's not going to work with the splines, and surfaces are going to work here. So kind of makes sense. Okay, I still don't hate it. Well, come on, load. Thank you. Super fast. Nice. Let's move it in. Look at that. I mean, moving trees on a scatter, and it's just instant. That's fantastic. Okay, let's go. Now, let's talk about the big features, because something that they claimed on their social media is somebody said animated cars. I would say that it's coming, but I'm just going to say it, and no, it's not yet there, because none of the cars that are in presets are yet animated. So at least best to my knowledge, no cars do have the icons that will allow us to add that extra. Super fun thing is that once you download a file for Corona or any other software, and when working in 3ds Max, all the same presets are going to be downloaded into same place. So if you downloaded something in 3ds Max and you move your workflow into this software, which wasn't the case with Vantage as far as I remember, you're going to get this beautiful free model already downloaded here. So those are reading the same files, which is fantastic. It's just going to be faster and easier that way, right? So okay, now let's redo a new spline. So let's make a spline. Because my ground, as you can see, has weird smoothing groups, this spline is going to go wobbly, but I hope that the people that we're going to be adding to this spline won't notice and won't go just wobble around like some kind of penguins. So edit. Now we want to select those, and you've got 3 options here: smooth, you've got the smooth symmetric, and we've got the sharp. Obviously the 4th option, which is default, is the auto. Well, it's really cool. Now we've got smooth, but if you don't want to play with the smooth, you can just go for custom ROM, whatever that means, and it's just going to automatically add the smoothness, so I'm just going to go for that. Okay, so here we've got the options, details, and whatnot. So spline, what is it good for, right? Well, mostly we need to add a bit of thickness so our big people can actually fill this spline. You can animate each object to move along some kind of spline or any kind of object, so you can see that it's again going to be so simple. We need to go here to the animation tab, and now the car suddenly moves along the spline, and it's going to even be it's actually turning, but this is not something I wanted to show you. Let's talk about the people, right? So people will be just an object that you place, and then we're going to create a path for them, or we can pick a path once we select them. So I'm going to pick this as my path. So now we've got selected path, and we just need to generate. I would compare this anima crowd to something that 3ds Max should update it like billion years ago, and that is populate, because it allows you to create such nice complexity for your objects. I found a couple of not ideal situations in it, because I am yet to figure out how to change some individuals and how to determine what kind of crowd I'm going to be getting. But you can see that we've got the drop actors to the crowd, and I'm not sure where those actors are, because those are not the same people we see in the Cosmos. So I'm not sure if that's the case, because those people sitting, walking, sitting, standing, walking, are those actors going to be here? No, those are the individuals. Okay, so the crowd is pre-animated, it's high quality. Those people won't steal your soul if you look at them. I love it, because honestly, it's again just, why isn't this a standard at this point? We just go ahead and go back to our animation, allow the keyframes to happen, and we've got nice moving people that are quality human beings. You can see this quality human being, this quality human being. Well, okay, buddy, show me how much quality is there on your face. Okay, kind of zoom is getting on my nerves, but trust me when I tell you this human is actually looking human, or at least on my end. Okay, I take this back. Yeah, if actually not bad. Yeah, I'm just going to stick with what I said. Let's give them a bit more resolution because maybe the 25% isn't enough. So, okay, actually looking good. What's a handsome lady? Okay, loving it. I don't know what to tell you. It's just nice software, especially for engineers and people that will be working with animations for crowds. This is fantastic. And we can animate all of the aspects of our scene. So first of all, we add the cameras. So we're going to be able to add some movement if we want to. So we can just set our keyframes. And here I'm going to be absolutely honest with you. I am yet to figure out how to work with those animations in some spectacular way. And I'm assuming that we're going to have a lot of presets here, potentially some camera pans, movements, and some additional elements. But the animation itself is super simple, and I love it. So the key element is the super fast scatter. Humans that are unparalleled. This is the anima. So AXYZ. Just perfect people. Honestly, it's just the best. We've got quite easy way of adding any kind of surfaces for us. We can add any kind of, snapping. So I haven't tested that, honestly. But let's talk about the butts. Talking about the butts, I'm not going to be selecting a woman because that's going to be inappropriate. What I'm saying is that we've got those positions. So my lizard brain thought that if I'm going to move this human, I'm going to get some effect. But if I add any value, it's not going to work at all. So probably I just don't know how it's done. We can add some speed, which at the moment has a bit of a nice effect. We can make a guy run. That's super cool. Motion phase, I'm not sure what that is, but it's just going to be probably some kind of preset animation. That's super cool. This guy is chasing or running away from this woman. Perfect. We've got variations for the colors, which is super cool, but there's a bit of a but, as I said. If we click here, it resets, and this guy is now in this position. We no longer can do anything about it, and now is just walking this type of, well, movement. Cool. Did you notice that while I was talking, we created the keyframes for the animation? That's so cool. Well, let's go back. Now this woman walks, perfect. We get to the guy, and perfect. So we've got all of the keyframes, but I'm just going to delete this animation because that was too simple. Now, how do we handle a guy that's stuck in here? Well, it's hard to even select him now. He's doing yoga. I would say, yes, some kind of please help me, I'm stuck position. I don't know if that's the thing in yoga, but now we can actually give him a bit of a extra movement. So now we're not going to be able to give him any kind of movement. We cannot return him to his path, and now he's just going to be doing this. So it's probably going to allow us to do something with the variation. So we probably can give him the movement based on selected keyframes. So if we get the variation, let's put it on the variation tab. Okay, so let's test it out. If I'm going to move this guy, if my idea is correct, or if it's not. Nah, I'm just going to say it. I don't know how it's done, and I'm not going to be responsible for this guy walking forever in the air. But I'm still going to say that as long as you don't do too much, it's looking okay. But there's a way out. Wait a second. Color variation, motion phase. Where was it? Visibility. Now, problem solved. This guy is no longer going to render. Now, it's a beta, so it's definitely going to have so many more features, and at this point I'm just going to say it, I love it. Guy gave up and died. Oh my god, come on. That's that's a little bit naughty, but yeah, it's fantastic. So now, who is this software aimed at? Definitely it's aimed at architects that will be working with larger projects and cooperating with teams, because the ease of importing assets in here when you're not streaming live and the software is not being a bit of child, we're not going to we would have a lot of success if we didn't stream. So I would say that this is definitely going to be aimed at those people that will be working in teams where the design is live and you need to live link something. You need to fast and easily deliver the renderings. Why am I talking about fast? Because we haven't rendered anything. So the camera, oh, that's another one. This kind of change, I mean, if you want to work with smaller values, you're going to have to type them in, and holding Alt won't help like it does in 3ds Max, so be very careful when changing your focal in your camera because it's going to blow up really rapidly. Still, the Isaline scene is at the moment looking way better in 3ds Max, but it's definitely not going to render as fast. So again, we're sacrificing a little bit of our quality for the quantity, which is super cool. Automatic vertical tilt, length, color corrections, create post-processing, and we're going to be able to add everything we want. Auto exposure, or just set it up to our liking. This is what I like, so I'm going to keep it that way. Now, going back to the color corrections, we've got Filmic Tool Map, very similar to other software, so super simple to understand. If you don't want to play with it, you just go for the AMPAS, and it's going to be mostly gamma, and the LUT, so nothing really to it has nothing to do with realism because we're going to have the highlight burn turned off. So here we can just play with it, and well, probably it's going to be better to just set it up to your liking, but now we need to turn it on. So definitely something that I like. So the materials, I don't know how to quickly and efficiently change the colors for the whole presets, such as multiple objects in a scatter, because maybe I would love to I would love to have the ability to actually adjust some of the colors here. So I'm guessing they will add more presets for grass or different tones later on, because it's definitely going to be better to do it that way. And real-time speed of playback, even if the guy is walking towards the air. Whoa! Okay, that was impressive. That was impressive. Those guys almost had a beef. Nice. That's surprisingly amazing. Okay, now I like it. Okay, so we cannot take the people. Mike, did the smoothing on the floor mat happen during the import? Can I be removed with an Envision? Oh, that's a very cool question. Not as far as I know. I don't see any options that would allow that. So you're probably going to have to take really close look at any of this kind of elements. Now they will fight. That's exactly it. So that's actually not bad. I was expecting to see a beta that's going to be constantly crashing. It did, but I didn't expect it to be this good after it crashed. So render image and take viewport snapshot. So viewport snapshot is going to be saved automatically. This is again going to be something that I need to just say because I don't like it. The viewport snap is working kind of cool because now I'm taking a screenshot, it changes the number automatically, right? But if I'm now going to go to the render image, I don't have any kind of plus. I really would love to have an option to just add incremental naming, because this is a long name. This, and going in to re-render and have it, well, let's say done each time, it's going to be kind of annoying. So let's see what it does when I'm saving the scene and rendering it. So saving is the first step. So let's see how it performs once we actually render it out. I am pretty sure that it's going to have all the AI features that are coming to Chaos. That's well, now Tom from Corona recently just gave us the info about enhancing inside of the viewport and all of that. So Corona is probably going to be GPU based to some extent, but you can see that the whole idea behind the rendering is not that big of a deal. So the rendering speed is perfect. I mean, I do have a very slow GPU, so it's still going to be something to take care of. But look at the quality of the texture. Nothing is blurred, everything is in position. I didn't really spend a lot of time to set this up. And again, it's just because I was afraid of doing anything in here because I was crashing the software because of my my own doing. So where did I even save it? Yeah, Envision. So now if I want to save it again, it's going to override the previously created image. I probably would like to have an option to add the increment. Sequence kind of allows that, but sequence is for animations, so that's not it. So okay, but let's see how that image turned out. So looking good. Hi Mike, you are doing good. I would love to see Envision has God rays effect on volumetrics effect. What can be built? So I've actually I set different settings for the resolution. Okay, so first of all, Gras is fantastic. It's a little bit upscaled, so that can be changed. The smoothing was my doing, so let's. Okay, the lady is looking okay. Actually, not bad. I will say that the quality of the image is mostly on me. The denoiser kind of overdid its job. I wish that there would be a small way of lowering the amount of denoising we're going to see, because potentially there is some way of getting it there. But preset, no, I don't want any presets. I want my settings. So let's go for the X is going to be 108. Okay, no, it's not going to be. Okay, so 1080. No. So 1.080. No. So okay, maybe here. Probably it's the beta thing, but okay. As you wish. Software. But aspect. The aspect was set up. The resolution is okay. X, Y. Okay. The aspect shouldn't be that way. So what's going on? We're re-rendering without the denoising now, but lower resolution. So we're going to see about that. Hi there, Morian. Collision, nice. Yeah, the collision was actually something that I would say was super impressive. It wasn't even, oh, nice. It was, wow, good, because it would take me forever to set that up. Oh, yeah, I love that. Take viewport snapshot, rendering image. Let's see the image. Okay, here it is. Again, see, that's what I'm saying. We don't have that option to add another one, or it doesn't even ask you whether you want to override it or not. So open. Yeah, it kind of needs the denoising. That's definitely going to need denoising. So I'm still not sure about the proportions of the image and why it happens like this. Samples can be increased, so that's probably going to be the noise level, or this is going to be responsible for the noise level. So that's there's a little bit of something to figure out. But let's do a bit of a test. Oh, my camera. Let's change the perspective so it's not going to fix itself. And now edit. Smooth it up. Let's see what happens if I... Okay, I cannot move this since the people are there. So kind of makes sense, but I cannot move it at all. So, okay. Adjust points and adjust their position to use the control points tools. Okay, but I'm trying to do that. But is there another tool set for that? Bezier, linear, okay. Add points maybe, okay. Okay, and that's how you end the webinar. How do you think when the Corona render starts using GPU for rendering purposes? I think would be nice to progress for 3ds Max as VizAcademy on Viz on. So honestly, Moriam, I think they're never going to switch to just Corona being a GPU rendering. I believe it's going to be a hybrid at some point, because Corona has unparalleled quality. It's just something that is definitely going to be the biggest plus of Corona, and you cannot beat that. At the moment, yes, you can spend gajillion hours to create something, and please be very, very, well, squint your eyes and pretend that I did much more work on this image, because again, it's just me testing, not exactly doing anything compared to Isaline that gave us this beautiful scene. So at the moment, those two need to be, let's say, stitched together at some point with some frame interpolation or additional tools to reimagine elements. I'm guessing that the tools that we should be expecting that are going to be added to Corona, and they will be very helpful. First, I would say it's the enhancing and upscaling. That's definitely going to come to Corona in a better form soon. Next thing that's going to be GPU based, I would say that we're going to get some kind of material editor tool that's going to just work as if we would be extracting knowledge or some kind of details from materials and giving it a prompt that this is stone, please make it shiny. That's going to be probably it. But we're going to get the tool like this soon enough. It might be actually a separate tool outside of Corona, but this is something that I would be expecting. Next, about the hybrid level. Well, first of all, we're already using a hybrid to some extent because the denoising, especially the NVIDIA one, is happening on GPU. Same goes for the Intel one. We're also getting the upscaling. We've got some effects added in, like tone mapping. That's basically the GPU part. Also, if I recall correctly, the bloom and glare is that. So we're probably going to be shifting towards more of a hybrid, but not fully hybrid, because again, this quality is why Corona was so successful. So Envision, I would say as a beta at this moment, I'm going to wait for it to be Sigma. once it's out, it's probably going to be way better. It's not disappointing. It's really promising. It's something that I am impressed with in some aspects. First of all, the crowd control. That's super. That's something that people... I once paid approximately 8,000 euros to purchase a couple of people that were just moving like this, and I have used it like 3 times in all of my projects. I can show you something that you're probably going to laugh off, but I have a very old project that I was working on, and I was using those very, very expensive at the time people. So let me just find it for you, because this is something that a lot of you may not understand. People, the scans, the animations, those are extremely, extremely expensive things to possess. So for me, having this ability is just marvelous. So, okay, now, where is it? Okay, not this folder. 1 second, guys. I'm just going to let you see it. Nah. Seems like, oh, got it. So this is, oh no, those are already re-enhanced because I was already, yeah. So this is the zombie crowd I was using in projects a couple of years ago. I don't know what they took in this club, but well, I paid a lot of money for this, people, at the time, and I love it. That was the best investment in my life. So yeah, definitely that lady is my favorite, but definitely this is super cool. High quality, nice animations. Probably we're going to get more options for their movements, so you're going to actually be able to add some dancing crowds and whatnot. Oh yeah, Theodore actually mentioned something really important, and Corona GPU is Vantage Live Link. That's basically something that I forgot about, because yeah. So yeah, no, Corona is not going to go hybrid that way. Okay, I take this back. Yeah, you got me. Seems like they're having fun though. Yeah, I don't know what they took, but that's definitely fun. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm now stretching this out too long. I think it's definitely going to be fine to leave you here and just sum up everything. First of all, if you're working with Corona, you're going to have to go to Scene Export and export your files in V-Ray format. If you're using V-Ray, that's the default option, so it's going to be even better, higher quality, and it works seamlessly, like seamlessly. Still, this software is in a beta form, so we have to be very well, we have to give it a bit of a benefit of a doubt that's definitely going to get better. So I'm going to trust that like everything that Chaos delivers, it's just going to be top quality, and at some point we're just going to see something super cool. As for the crowds, fantastic. As for the assets that are animated, fantastic. What else can we ask for? Honestly, I'm going to be making probably another video on Envision once another version comes up, because, well, it's worth it, but I'm going to prepare a bigger project so we can actually talk about something and test the claim of unparalleled flexibility with the size of the scene. So that's going to be something that I'm really going to be happy to test, especially that I'm getting a new hardware. It's like standing right here, but I am afraid of moving all of my data there because, well, I am afraid that at some point everything is going to break, so we're going to see about that. Where can I see your course prices? Oh, thank you for asking. That's something I wasn't expecting, but go to VizAcademy Co. UK and you can see the available dates. That's where you're also going to be able to see the current price. The current price is £2,500, but this stream is obviously for the purpose of promoting not our school, which I do love you asking that question. It's to promote the Chaos Campus. I was supposed to have a QR code that is going to help you go there. So if you're going to give me a second, I'm going to actually create one, because that's something that absolutely escaped my mind. So I'm just going to go here. Now post this nice notepad so everybody can see it. This is where you want to join, and now I'm going to go to my okay, okay, and now where's the? Am I really this slow in here? Okay, I think I'm just going to leave you with this link. So Chaos Campus Group is where you want to go now. I'm just going to try not to be too obvious with my Facebook. Hey, that's me. That's us. And now, Chaos Campus is something that you want to join. Why? First of all, it has Theodore. It has all of the shows that are super amazing. So we've got the Chaos Campus live show. We've got Keep It Realistic. We've got tips and trips with VizAcademy. So it's all that goodies. So if you're going to post anything here, you're going to get some response. You're going to get some kind of encouragement and maybe some tips on how to how to improve your work. Also, Amit is going to be there to definitely give you at least a like, because he's a beast. I don't know how it's possible that he has so much time to be almost under each post. So that's a super cool thing. Really, I'm I'm just going to say it. This is a really important person in the group, but obviously Theodore is the numero uno. But it's not only those people, because we've got more people like Nico, which is amazing artist, and he also frequents this website. We've got all the freshest news, so yeah, go for it. Just join Chaos Campus, because that's going to be the best decision that you can make, guys. This is it for today. Thank you so much for your attendance, your encouragement, for a couple of laughs, obviously, because it was funny to see those crashes, but definitely loved having you here. So once again, thank you for joining, and see you next time. Probably within a week, I'm going to do a portfolio review on our YouTube channel, but maybe if we're going to be able to, we're going to squeeze in another chaos thing quite soon. So thank you so much, and see you soon. Bye-bye, and thank you for joining. Oh, by the way, could you please leave a like and subscribe to our channel? It always helps. Bye-bye.